winter solstice yesterday. It seems like winter has finally arrived, and of course down here in Cape Town we are thrilled that it is bringing a little bit more rain than we've seen in the last year or two in winter. So here's hoping that it continues to be cold and wet in the best possible way, especially since it does look like things are heating up in the country and we might have all sorts of interesting things to keep us busy while winter sits heavily on the land. So what is it that's keeping us busy? Well, as you can already see, and as I mentioned in my book published at the beginning of the year, government is reaching a bit of a crisis with some of the strikes and demands by workers, clearly especially at Eskom, where they seem to be caught in a bit of a bind at Eskom. And of course government is severely affected by that, not only to the extent that they own Eskom, but also because the national grid, the whole country depends on the national electricity grid, and this is kind of what's at stake, as we all know, in this situation. So it looks to be a thrilling month. As I speak, some concessions have been made in the Eskom drama, and there is a small increase currently being offered by the company. I don't think that that's going to go very far, and it looks like the conflict or the strike becomes protracted. There are severe, real threats to the electricity grid this month and next month, mostly caused because of the industrial action. But it does look like it is going to resolve a little bit more in the workers' favour than we might have expected, or than certainly it looks like at this stage. But mass action, marches, strikes, it's not only Eskom, we will be seeing more and more of that this month. Other angles on that is that it looks like President Cyril Ramaphosa might also get caught into something when some of his business links and links to mines or other businesses might actually bring something up for him. But more than that, it does look like quite a stalemate is being reached in a lot of his negotiations within the ANC, stuff that the rest of us don't hear about. It does seem from the astrology of it that Jacob Zuma is up to no good somewhere in the background, very quietly planning things that might turn out to be quite serious in terms of the future of the party and of course KwaZulu-Natal province as well. Working against his own party is going to see some problematical developments that later on the party is going to have to deal with. And so it does look like Ramaphosa gets increasingly stuck at this point in his efforts to bring the ANC to their ideal place before the elections next year. There also continues to be quite a strong focus on policing and police services. The new police minister will take some action that is kind of reassuring for everyone. It does look like things are really happening, so people feel a little bit more comfortable about that. And some of the existing cases involving the police will take a further turn. We have seen one or two top cops suddenly get off the trouble they were in, and perhaps there's going to be more of that. But on the whole, it is looking like good results from the Ministry of Police at the moment. Where some other important differences are made for the country are in the area of sport, and it does look like despite our lackluster performance, we are going to see some better performance going on in the rugby sevens, and this might actually improve us in terms of international standing. Could be some changes and issues around the coach as well. And it does look like as we go through this next period, there might even be the odd rising star that's seen in the sporting arena that helps take us to a better place. And that should improve some of the feelings in this country, many of which are being stirred up by Julius Malema. As we know, Malema's comments around Youth Day did not go down very well, and although as ever he faces little retribution because of such comments, it does look like he's also getting himself into a slightly stickier situation. So there are some unexpected developments and changes both in his world and in the country as a whole. So it looks like we have some positive developments to look forward to in the police ministry, in sorting out some of the labor conditions. There's definitely something good going on in sport, and even in finances. Our international standing remains the same. The currency continues to perform poorly, but the government continues to attract new money and new investments. So we're hanging in there, and that sounds like just the right kind of thing to be doing for winter. Let's see if we ourselves are going to do a little bit more than hanging in as we look at your sign for the month ahead. Looking at the month ahead as a whole, it does look like many of us are feeling pretty scattered at this time. A little bit of everything's all over the place. There's too much on the go, and there's too much that needs to be done. And I think as a general rule for all of us, what this winter has really got to be all about is finishing the unfinished business and gathering ourselves a little bit together in a more focused way. We've got, the increase of petrol prices made us face greater expenses, more complaints, more problems, and it's really time to rope in and cut down. The charts for us in South Africa this month look very scattered and all over the place, and it's a little bit like this is an opportunity for us all to take stock and focus ourselves in a much more constructive direction. Hopefully we'll take the guidance of the mutable signs. Those are the signs Gemini and Virgo and Pisces and Sagittarius, who seem to be really leading the pack this month. But starting, of course, with Aries. Well, Aries, you mostly do best when you're left to do things your own way, and if you're depending on other people this month, you will surely be disappointed. There are things that have changed, and there are expectations of yours that need to be adjusted accordingly as well. Doesn't mean you're doing everything yourself, but it means you're roping in and pulling in is about relying on yourself more, realizing where your connections might not have been working for you, and where you might even have to find some new connections to make things really work. Like things, new people will also be found in the most unlikely places this month. So keep your eyes open, new resources available to you. You need to be a little bit daring and a little bit different, and a little bit spontaneous at the same time, but you've got no problem with that. There are some work changes that actually need your attention, and this is the time to just go the whole way and make some more changes there too. Remember, our general theme for this particular time is consolidating and clearing out, and if necessary you might actually have to do some risky things in order for that to happen successfully. So don't be shy, let it all happen, even if other people at work think you're completely crazy. Luckily you have a lot of support coming from your loved ones. There are new people in your working environment. Some few people might be leaving your personal environment, and so this is not the time for negative stuff with negative people. You might have to clean out some of your friendships. Don't get drawn into any battles. This is the time to lean on those who are supporting you, because you'll be able to rely on them when it comes to the crunch. Taurus, well, now you are ready for something new. You are kind of feeling lucky, your luck is running high, there are opportunities coming around, and you need to take advantage of those. Especially opportunities that come to you from the people around you, and those that allow you to learn something new or venture into new territories or something like this. It's a great time for exploring new anything, whether that's going exploring in your own backyard, or expanding your environment by finding new people and new places and other places where you might actually find some gains. A little bit of investing in yourself by giving yourself new things. This is the time to do it. It's going to be helpful because work is happening. There's goals and ambitions to pursue. There's important stuff that needs to be done, but your own goals also seem to be pressing for you. And if you're working for others or have kind of stuff that has to be done at work, well, you're going to have to put some of your own goals aside in order for that to happen. Don't lose sight of them though. This is the month where you need to make sure they are in place, and you might get the opportunity to turn things around so that other people can help you with your vision rather than you having to do all the slog work yourself. At home, get some light relief with fun and associating with maybe different kinds of people. Spreading yourself, stretching yourself and exploring new territories can also be about people, and can also be about doing things that you haven't really imagined yourself doing. You know, get into your childish side, indulge yourself a little bit, have some fun, and that'll be a good balance to all the hard work that's happening. Geminis will be pleased to know that things have improved a little since last month, and there hasn't been a pattern caused. Whatever was going wrong last month is actually now behind you, and things are moving along very well and at a pace that you can manage. That's a fast pace for Geminis, and there are all sorts of new people coming into your life who are going to help with that fast pace. You are a social person and you like connecting and networking, and this is an opportunity to really do that. You might even get yourself noticed and find yourself amongst people that you haven't really had the good fortune to be amongst before. This is a time to make new connections, and maybe connections which will turn out to be quite relevant and significant in the future. It's also an opportunity to really shift some of your goals and ideals. You're kind of working at a higher level with a different bunch of people than you've been working before, so maybe this is time for you to level up. To do that, you need to take matters into your own hands. No time for dilly-dallying, planning and talking. All of that is over. It's time to act with leadership, act with persuasion, really, if necessary, and to keep some humor in the whole situation. There are going to be some resistance to some of the changes that you want to make or some of the leadership that you're enacting, but this is the time to make all the difference, because your own personal ambitions can advance, and whatever's happening at work is going to benefit. So if you're not working for yourself, others are going to benefit from your advancing. So just go for it. Don't let anyone hold you back. Cancerians, of course, it's your birthday somewhere in the near future, and so it's all about you this month. And in fact, you know, people and emotional things and families are really what it's all about for you. And when things are happening in that area, you're happy. So this is a time to really focus on family things and personal life, and by extension, it also means your spiritual life, the things that are really important to you, which touch your heart and your nurturing Cancerian ability. So whether it's time to do a little voluntary work or do things that really give you the feeling that you're taking care of others, which is something you'd really benefit from right now. In your working environment, it means paying attention to what the group needs. And so your personal goals there aren't going to work, and you need to be focusing on how can I be helpful, what am I needed to do, what are the challenges that I have an opportunity to fix, and where I can perhaps save someone else the trouble. This is a great opportunity to do exactly that and give someone else a bit of a break. You know, a good balance for all of that is also make sure that you're having fun and pleasure. If it's your birthday month, if we're concentrating on your values like people and the things you love the most, well then spend time with those people. Spend time with people whose affections are reliable and you know where you stand, and when you're getting that kind of support for your real core values. And you might even get some help for those core values, the things that you want to do for those loved ones around you. So Cancerians, just let's get personal. For Leos, it might be time to actually take a little step back. You know, as we approach our own birthdays, often things go a little bit quiet and flat, and even though you're normally someone who's right out there up front, this is a time to step back a little bit. Not into seclusion, but maybe it's just a bit of privacy, maybe just time to gather yourself together, kind of a recovery time, and also time to do some of the stuff for yourself that you've been putting off, or some of the boring, horrible stuff that you've been putting off as well, you know, whether it's the cleaning or whatever the case may be. But it's really just time to pull into yourself and focus on those kinds of things. Some of the work stuff's going to have to take second fiddle because of all of that, and just identify what's important and what really needs to be done. And that's really focus on obstacles. In this kind of gather together and pull yourself together month, it's a good time to be tackling obstacles, things that don't need dramatic, fast focus ahead of you. You might have to make a few sacrifices in order for things to happen, and that means spending less time with loved ones or having fun. And maybe one of your challenges is really about balancing your time this month. There will be opportunities for social connections as well, and they shouldn't be completely neglected. So this could really be a month about figuring out, where do I stand, what's important work-wise and what's important home-wise. Let me just take this opportunity to kind of fix all of that stuff before your personal year gets underway when it comes to your birthday next month. Virgos, of course, are in the group of mutable signs, and things are working out so well, and it looks like you've achieved some kind of equilibrium. Things are really working for you in terms of balancing what you need to do for yourself versus doing stuff for others. One of the biggest challenges in your life, and actually you need to take advantage of that. It's more than just balance. It's actually an opportunity to get some of your personal stuff onto the high priority list and getting stuff done in your own personal life, whether it's family, whether it's relationship. This is an opportunity to really take charge, show that you care, take responsibility, and those kinds of things. You should also be doing that for yourself. If you are one of those Virgos this month who's been neglecting a simple health issue or any kind of maintaining yourself issue, this is one of those times to just get that done and get it out of the way. It often won't feel like you're making progress, and that's also true in your personal life, in your professional life, where there are some obstacles that really need to be tackled head on. But with you kind of in the strong position and in the pound seats, things are going to work for you, and actually you might even help kick others into action or inspire them into action as well. At home, that's the family. There's family obligations and duties and chores, and this is a great time to just reconnect with your family, take on some of the responsibilities and obligations that you do have. It's a great time to make strong new connections, and more importantly, to make those family connections even stronger. Libra is, of course, all about love, and sometimes that's all you need to just make it feel that everything's okay. Your loved ones around you and friends and family can just take away those feelings of insecurity. But this month, it doesn't feel like they're really willing to go away that much. Little things might make you feel worried. You might be feeling insecure for no good reason. Draw on the support of those you love, but don't get worried when nothing really does seem to be working for you. Find other places in your life where you can actually make some things feel more secure. But the real message of the month is about just going with the flow, relying on yourself. Don't worry about what you're not getting or what's not coming in. In your professional life, in your financial life, this is an opportunity to sort some issues out, not create new or make new goals or anything like that. Just working with where you're at, making sure that by the time you reach the end of this month, you're going to be in a stronger and safer position. It's really just about getting your security intact. Work at things that are niggling at you in some way. In your personal life, you can create some excitement and you can make some connection, and all of that will provide some of the light relief you need at this time. So take it slow, take it easy. Scorpio, as much as you like to lay low and keep it quiet, you might be feeling a little bit unnerved by the fact that it looks like very little is actually going on in your life. But the good news is that all the things that need to be taken care of themselves are indeed taking care of themselves. Things are ticking over just as you would want. And, why not actually sit back and enjoy the winter? But for some reason, you're feeling stuck and you're getting into a mode of frustration and irritation and all of those things which actually just make it unnecessarily frustrating. What's really happening is that it's really time to just slow down. It's like the universe is helping you slow down. So just sit there and chill. In terms of your ambitions and so on, this is where you need to learn the lesson of patience, not always the lesson of charging ahead. This is not the time to be putting all your energy into something. You could be kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So take a step back. You might want to do some consolidating. You might want to just deal with consolidating the people that are working around you. The strategy is really about letting them do all the hard work and you focusing on just sitting there and consolidating. That means, personally, it's a month of fun and pressure and people and relationships and all the good stuff in life. What could possibly be wrong with that? Sagittarians also have a chance to catch up, and basically not much is making progress, but things aren't stuck. So this is the opportunity to have a look at what have you overlooked and what's fallen by the wayside. That's both in your professional life as well as in your personal life. So catching up with family, very important. There are neglected feeling people all around you. So this is the time to catch up with that. Down from domestic matters and things where you've kind of let slip, and you can get some reward in that area of life, even the big domestic matters, changing property, renovating, buying and selling, all of those kind of things will really go far this month as well. At work, it's important to pay attention to detail. So the trivial things and the small things, they might be creating frustration and impatience, but you need to slow down and focus on those things. Don't jump the gun. You could end up ruining it for yourself. So paying attention to the small stuff and to the small details, it can turn out that there's value in that. There's resources that you didn't know was there. So this is a time to find them. And the same goes for people. Even though there's kind of chores and domestic stuff that have to be done, it turns out that new friendships and new partnerships also come into your life. Just make sure that don't let your existing partner feel a little bit worried. Capricorns, well, it's a time of changes. You need to make some changes, and there are some changes happening. Some things are coming to an end this month, and you need to develop new strategies and find a little bit of creative energy to come up with new ways of doing things, new methods, and actually getting them into action as well. This is even a time to put your wildest plans into action. It won't be that easy, it's going to be a little bit challenging, but this is a chance to really make impact, and that is something that will be profoundly satisfying to you. Your usual business-like approach and your, keeping a straight face and all of that might not be the best time to use that approach. This is a good time for kind of breaking the rules and stretching yourself out the box a little bit. Beware of situations where you're being perceived as cold or insensitive or unaware of the needs of others in your working environment. You don't want that to happen. This is also time to make sure you tuned into some of the bigger picture and make sure what the zeitgeist is, what the pulse is at the moment, in order for your strategies to work correctly. So it's about connecting, it's about sharing, working together, but not being shy to get your own wildest plans into action at this time. Aquarians are famously concerned about everyone else and what works best for everyone else and makes everyone else satisfied in some way. You're not the most practical of signs, you're very idealistic, and your ideals work best when everyone does stand to gain, not just yourself. So this is a month to take advantage of those opportunities which arise to put some of your wilder, bigger plans into action, because they will arise. You will see stuff in the world around you that needs your attention and your help. You're not there to fix everything yourself, but this is a great time to be working in a team situation, a group situation, or getting others roped in to be kind of working for you and getting all that stuff done. Your personal needs are not going to go so well. You might find some own projects just fall by the wayside, or something that you've been working on or that has been important until now just falls by the wayside. But this is the bigger picture. Still, in your personal life, it might be worth making sure that you draw some lines between what you need for yourself and what happens for the both of you or for others in your life as well, and just making sure that in your personal life your goals are clear and that your partner feels that they don't feel threatened by the fact that it's a little bit of everything for everyone right now, and all relationships are benefiting, which is great, but just don't overdo it. Make sure that where it counts you can rope in any damage that's being caused and focus on what's good for both of you. Pisces, this month is a focus on all your relationships, both in your personal and your professional life. That's not surprising for winter, which is when we do get to reconnect with people and so on. And friends are going to expose you to all sorts of new ideas and new paths and new opportunities. So this is a great time to get involved in stuff that, even if it seems out of your league or out of your usual interest zone or anything like this, don't be oversensitive, don't be prissy or poor me-ish. This is the time to get involved in something new. You could also be in a situation where helping someone leads to great rewards. Still, as ever, keep your good boundaries in place, but it is a good time to be keeping your eye open for what could be done for others. You're making progress in many areas, and initiative and leadership, things which we don't normally associate with your sign, these are going to be said of you and you're going to be able to benefit from those. I mean, you might be surprised about how willing others are to follow you and take your guidance at the moment. It's easy, but it's way easier said than done because it's just not in your nature. So be firm, take a deep breath. The rest will just follow naturally. You'll find that there's support in your working environment, in your personal environment, from people that you love. Make sure that you spend quality time with people that you love. But on the whole, Pisces, we're following you. Lead on. Well, it looks like everyone's having fun as long as they're not charging ahead too much and they're concentrating on consolidating and doing a bunch of winter stuff. But hey, it's winter. I will be back next week with a great treat. I'm interviewing the novelist Lana Xenopoulos about her new book and about so much more. So be sure to join us here next Friday at the usual time.